Okay, everybody. I want to thank you for joining this podcast. And I want to say hello to all the people on Storm is Coming. I want to thank Charlie, the main administrator, for giving me this platform to express a lot of my views. First and foremost, the title is called We Live in a Polarized World. And we're so polarized that we're willing to kill each other based on our beliefs that most times are not even based on facts, and it's just based on more patriotism and basically populism, I guess, if that's the right term to use, and emotion. We use a lot of emotion when we're trying to argue facts. When you're debating a certain policy or having a discussion, you're supposed to use facts and logic when you're coming into the discussion, and not emotion, different emotions like anger. We have to sit down, we have to talk rationally, and we have to see not only from our point of view, but we also have to see from other people's point of views. And none could be the same about politics. Politics is so polarized. Our repressive democracy, as I like to call it, the repressive democracy that we live in is all about polarization. It's all about left versus right. And if you guys don't see that, then maybe you really need to do more research on your political systems, not only here in Canada, but also in the States. And of course, the politicians and the elite, the so-called one percenters, they like that polarization. They like the fact that people are divided on all issues. And they have this political game that we call repressive democracy. And we have people from the left fighting people from the right. For instance, we have a situation going on in the States right now with the immigration and this so-called ICE patrol unit that's going around and grabbing illegal immigrants and putting them in these so-called camps. Now, there's a lot of parallels to Nazi Germany, World War II, and what is going on in the States right now. And the thing that really bugs me the most is that I'm not against immigration. I mean, we should have immigrational laws in place like we do have here in Canada. But what bugs me is that you have one ideology in power and making the decisions for everybody else. Now, if you want to have a serious debate about immigration, then what you should do is you should consult the public, the citizens of the United States, and perhaps have a lot of discussions, town hall meetings within each state in America, especially the border states that are being affected by this. And you have to ask the people how they feel and what they think and what they should do in order to stop immigration and how to deal with it. Now, I find the American government very hypocritical in this whole immigration scam. Well, I don't want to call it a scam, but this whole controversy going on with the immigration. I find it very hypocritical that American governments over the past years have destabilized countries, have overthrown democratically elected leaders, and have installed their own puppet leaders. And in the process have caused destabilization in a lot of countries, especially in the Middle East, South America, which when they put in their new leader, that is not really democratically elected, but is more of a dictator, then that dictator kind of forces a lot of these people to flee the countries. And then, of course, when they go and they bomb countries like Syria indirectly, of course, then that causes so much destabilization and so much chaos that these poor people have to run away. Not by choice. They have no choice, really, because they want to survive, just like you and I would want to survive and want to keep our family safe. And again, it's not their choice to go to Europe. It's not their choice to go to Australia. It's not really their choice to leave at all. What they had in Syria, what they had in Libya, and what they had in a lot of these countries was stability. And of course, what governments have done, they've gone in there and they've destabilized these countries, and they've turned them into hellholes. So again, I find this very hypocritical that the American government, Donald Trump in particular, and the whole Republican Party and the Democrats, to be quite honest, have a issue with not only Mexicans, but of course a lot of South Americans, and of course Haitians, and any immigrant, to be honest, that enter their country. They want to call them criminals. Now again, I don't want to say that we shouldn't have immigration laws and there should be an open door policy. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we have to stop fucking around with other countries around the world and let them be sovereign, and let's stay out of their affairs. And I'm including our country of Canada, of course. Under Harper, we were part of the Ally campaign that bombed some of those Middle Eastern countries. Because of course there's a direct correlation with refugees and fleeing countries and war. You go in there, you fight, you bomb them, and then of course you destroy families, and at the same time you create a lot of terrorists, because essentially they've lost everything and now they're out for blood. And again, I'm not condoning that. It's not what I'm saying is that we have to scale it back, and we have to go to the root of the problem. And essentially what we need to do is we basically have to mind our own business and stay out of the affairs of other countries. Excuse me. Now, with that said, our groups, Direct Democracy for Americans, Direct Democracy for Canadians, we all advocate for direct democracy. And essentially, now is the time, more than ever, that we start letting the citizens of every country in this world, we start consulting them in all policies, all major policies that affect all its citizens in that particular country. Now, of course, some of the policies, of course, could be war. War is a prime example. Now, I'm all for defenses. If you look at the country of Switzerland, they have gun laws, but they are allowed to carry guns, but they're not allowed to carry ammo. And of course, the guns are there for an actual invasion of another country, invading Switzerland, so that the citizens of Switzerland, who have to attend a militia, who have to attend the army for at least, 2 years, I'm not even sure, are trained in rifles and in guns in general. And of course, if there was an invasion from a foreign threat, then the Swiss people would be armed and ready for action. So that's something I totally agree with. Now, I'm not going to get into the gun thing, because I know that's a hot button issue. But what I'm trying to get at is, sorry everybody. What I'm trying to get at is that we need people to start making decisions in politics. We've tried political parties. Okay? We've tried Republicans, we've tried Democrats. Here in Canada, we've tried Liberals for 150 years. We've tried Conservatives for 150 years. And every election seems to get worse and worse. And it seems like there's a tiny few that are benefiting from this, and we all know who that is. And of course, they have the power because of this repressive democracy, or representative democracy, however you want to call it. And that's where we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to get rid of it. And we can have parties, but we can't call them political parties. We have to call them political action committees. Okay? And any citizen, any committee, any group can initiate a law, and of course the citizens of the states or of Canada would have the final decision, have the final say. Now, it's the will of the majority, of course, and it's not the majority rules, because each referendum that you vote on, everybody's going to vote differently. Maybe one person might vote yes on one, maybe one might vote no on the other. But the key thing is, when voting on referendums, you must be educated. You must educate yourself, is what I'm trying to say. You have to educate yourself, do the research, look at both sides of the coin. Okay? Don't be irrational. Don't be emotional. Don't bring emotions into this. Be logical. Think about it. Look at the facts. Look at the pros and look at the cons. And then after you think that you're well educated on it and you're ready to make a decision, then you go and you make that decision. Okay? Don't be biased. These are all factors that come into play when you're voting in a referendum type or in a direct democratic system. These are all things you have to consider and keep in mind. So again, we have groups here in America. We actually have a few groups throughout the states. If you want to know more about direct democracy, please go to Direct Democracy for Americans. Gary is one of the administrators. So is Doug Gustafson. Gary Pinto by the name is his name, by the way. If you're Canadian, please come out to Direct Democracy for Canadians. We do have a website called directdemocracy.social.org or .net. I can't remember the name. I apologize, but please check it out. We have a whole bunch of information out there. We have started a work in progress group called the Common Ground Project, and basically we're getting different groups, splinter cell groups that are coming together, and we're trying to figure out a way how to move forward politically. Listen, all ideas are great. The Venus Project, the Zeitgeist Movement, resource-based economy, cryptocurrencies. I mean, you name it. The Anonymous, Occupy. These are all great ideas. And what I'm trying to say is the Common Ground Project is essentially we're trying to find a way to get all these ideas implemented. And if we don't have a mechanism in place to get at least these ideas out there to the public so that they can decide, then they'll never see the light of day. Not under this system that we call representative democracy, or I like to call repressive democracy. So essentially that system is direct democracy. Direct democracy brings all ideas together, and then it lets people decide whether they like it or they don't like it. It's pretty simple. So again, if you want to see more horrendous policy that was created by the Democrats and of course created by the Republicans, then please keep going as you are, but don't complain when your country is going down the shitters even deeper than it was a year ago. So please give it a shot. Look it out, check up on it, research it. Direct democracy. The country of Switzerland has had direct democracy for many years, over close to 1,000 years or so, and they have one of the best countries. It's probably the top 5 country to live in, and it's really hard to get into that country again because people dictate policy. They decide what they want and what they don't want. It's quite simple. Now I want to mention David Frank, who is also a huge advocate for direct democracy. He's got the onevoicenow.org, and of course I'm not going to get into it, but I encourage you to go check out David Frank's website, onevoicenow.org. It's all about organizing your communities, and of course it's about direct democracy, letting people dictate in their communities all infrastructure projects or political policies. So when you get a chance, please check out David Frank, who's of course an American and who runs the site onevoicenow.org. Please check him out. I also want to say hello to John Reeves. John Reeves. He is the leader of the Democrats and Veterans Party in UK, in England. And of course, John was a former member of UKIP, and he is a huge advocate for direct democracy. So if you're from England, please check out John. He's a fantastic guy. And of course, if you're Canadian, I am a member of the CPU, the Canadian People's Union. I'm a proud member, and the union itself is not a political party, and it's not a labor party. It's not a labor union. It's essentially a corporate entity to gather all Canadians together to go to the House of Commons or to the Canadian courts. But we need 51% to do so. So this way we can present it to our House of Commons and we can tell them that, listen, yeah, you guys are no longer going to dictate policy. You guys are no longer going to have the final say. We're going to have the final say through direct democracy. So there's a convention of consent, which is a referendum that we need 51% of all Canadians to sign. And of course, we need 51% of each individual province so we can get direct democracy implemented in the province and of course nationally. But we need your help. We need you to come to the myfreedom2017.com to sign the convention of consent, and also be a member of the CPU. It's only $23 per year. It's very, very cheap. And of course, you're going to be part of something amazing and something that is truly uniting all of us Canadians. But we need your support. So I'm going to end this video, and I just want to say thank you to Storm is Coming for the platform once again. Thank you, Charlie, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And please look out for us, Direct Democracy for Americans and Direct Democracy for Canadians. Peace out. Take care.